New Super Mario Bros. Wii was one of my favorite video games growing up. I knew the ins and outs of every single course, such as determining which courses had roulette blocks in them, to which courses were auto-scrollers, to even knowing where all the star coins were in every single course. But I was wondering, is it possible to beat New Super Mario Bros. Wii backwards? Recently I got into the hobby of Mario modding, so I modded all the original New Super Mario Bros. Wii courses to make them backwards. All I did was swap the exit and entry points of every single course, and for many of the courses, I had placed a giant pipe near the end that no one could cross, forcing you to play the course backwards. All pipes and doors were rerouted, and at the new ends of the courses, I placed a pipe that would take you to the finish. Secret exits have not been modded, so we can use those when necessary. I got the idea as I was watching Nathaniel Bandy's New Super Mario Bros. DS backwards, so I decided to make this video for the New Super Mario Bros. Wii. With no further ado, let's begin. World 1-1 was simple, as was World 1-2 and World 1-3. And then we get to World 1-Mid-Castle. Yeah. But if we take the secret exit in World 1-3, it'll unlock a warp cannon that will take us to World 5. Going on to World 5-1, that was actually pretty easy, as was World 5-2 and World 5-3. And then we get to World 5-Mid-Castle. The semi-solid issue we faced in World 1-Mid-Castle also applies here, making this course impossible. Since there's no more possible paths after 5-Mid-Castle, this ends our run here. So, is New Super Mario Bros. Wii possible backwards? No. But, seeing as we made it this far, let's see how many of the other courses are possible backwards. Moving on to World 1-4. In the beginning I had to make a precise jump off a paratrooper, but otherwise, the level seemed pretty easy. Until I got to the pipes with the bubbles coming out of them. I tried several times to swim past the bubbles, but to no avail. So I grabbed a penguin suit to see if I could try swimming past the bubbles. And lo and behold, that worked. Everything went swimmingly until we reached this other pipe with the bubbles coming out of it. That was essentially supposed to take us to the finish. But since we can't enter that pipe, this course is impossible. World 1-5 was pretty easy, but it was a bug clencher because I had to make a lot of jumps without the propeller suit. But World 1-6 was relatively simple. And then there's World 1-Final Castle. There's this gear that prevents you from going left. And that's all there is in World 1. World 2-1 is pretty simple, although you do have to beware of the piranha plants. World 2-2 was okay, I just had to mind the fishy bootkinses over there. But then, after the checkpoint, we ran into this. There's this platform with a bunch of Koopas on it that won't let us progress to the rest of the level. World 2-3 was relatively easy, but I had to clear the first part with the propeller suit. As for World 2-Mid-Castle, we were able to get past the checkpoint okay, but then right here, the course won't let you go down. I thought I wasn't going to be able to beat World 2-4 at first, but actually found out that I could. However, I did have to take damage to a Koopa in the beginning, and had to execute a well-timed jump at this platform. Did I mention the wind is against me? But otherwise, the rest of the level was pretty easy. World 2-5 was simple, but World 2-6 was not. There was this large gap I had to clear, and the pink block was too far away. I actually tried a couple of times to get to the red pipe to see if I could take the secret exit, but to no avail. Getting the secret exit might be possible with 2 players, but getting the normal exit is definitely not. As for World 2-Final Castle, the course won't scroll backwards, so this course is impossible. And that's all for World 2. World 3-1 was actually pretty simple, as was World 3-2, except I had to make a precise jump off a bullet bill in the beginning. I thought it wasn't going to be World 3-3 because of the giant icicle, but actually, it was beatable. However, our luck ends at 3-Ghost House. I had to clear the first part with the propeller suit, but there's really no need to, because there's supposed to be a falling platform, but we can't reach the falling platform, not even with the propeller suit. And again, in World 3-Mid-Castle, there's the same semi-solid issue that prevented us from going any further, as we saw in World 1-Mid-Castle, 2-Mid-Castle, and 5-Mid-Castle. World 3-4 was quite simple, actually. What made it even easier is when I grabbed the propeller suit from the roulette block. I thought World 3-5 was going to be pretty easy, but it turns out it was a little harder than I thought. First, I went in there without a propeller suit, but the auto scroll caught up to me and I died. Then I went in there with the propeller suit, but I jumped on the pink block to gain a boost. I actually managed to make quite a bit of progress, but the course wouldn't scroll down fast enough for me to reach the platforms, so I died. However, I went in there again with the propeller suit, making sure to not touch the pink block by flying over it. And believe it or not, that actually worked. The rest of the level was pretty easy, as it was just a long fall to the bottom. And then there's World 3-Final Castle. I went in there with the propeller suit, did a triple jump off the platform, but I wasn't able to get enough height to reach the donut blocks. Maybe you could reach the donut blocks in 2-player mode, but then there's the giant ice blocks with the bob-ombs trapped inside. If you're playing this course backwards, the bob-ombs don't spawn in the right place, so you can blow up all the ice blocks, making this course impossible. And that's all for World 3. World 4-1 was actually pretty simple, as was World 4-2. In World 4-3, there were some platforms I thought were only clearable with propeller suit, but it turns out they weren't. This course is actually pretty easy. Then in World 4-Mid-Castle, we had to face the same sort of semi-solid problem we faced in World 1, 2, 3, and 5-Mid-Castle. World 4-4 was simple, as was World 4-Ghost House up until this point. So I went back in with the penguin suit to belly slide through those bricks. World 4-5 was pretty easy, as was World 4-Final Castle, but I had to use a propeller suit to clear this platform. World 4-Airship was pretty easy, except I had to make a precise jump off a bob-omb here. And that's all there is for World 4. Going back to World 5, we've only got a few more courses to complete. Now it's time for everyone's favorite auto-scroller, which technically isn't even an auto-scroller, but kind of is. World 5-4. It takes place on a boat that travels through the jungle, and there's annoying enemies that just want to rain on you. But now that we're playing the course backwards, there's no boat for us to ride on. I went in there with a mini mushroom to see if I could jump off the bob-ombs, but that didn't work. So then I went back with the propeller suit, but that was even worse. So this course is impossible. World 5-Ghost House wasn't too bad, as was World 5-5, although I did have a couple of close calls here and there. And there was nothing particularly difficult about World 5-Final Castle. And that's all there is for World 5. World 6-1 was definitely possible, but there was one spot where I had to bust out the propeller suit. World 6-2 didn't pose any problems, except I had to use a propeller suit in the beginning. In World 6-3, I had to pull out the propeller suit, but it was otherwise beatable. And World 6-4 was a walk in the park. But don't even get me started on World 6-Mid-Castle, because that's impossible. World 6-5 was possible, but I knew World 6-6 was going to be a struggle without the boat. So I just grabbed a mini mushroom and sped across the water. World 6-Final Castle was easy enough, but the same can't be said about World 6-Airship. Everything is okay until after the checkpoint. The auto scroll doesn't scroll high enough to reach these platforms, and when you die and respawn from the checkpoint, the auto scroll doesn't scroll low enough to reach the floor. And that's all for World 6. World 7-1 wasn't too challenging, and neither was World 7-2. World 7-3, on the other hand, was an entirely different story. Here I performed a propeller jump and made it to this mushroom by the skin of my teeth. Things were pretty easy until after the checkpoint. The platforms that you're supposed to reach are just too far away, even with a propeller jump. So, nope. However, World 7-Mid-Castle is one of the easiest courses by far, as it was just a long fall down. Interestingly, it was the only mid-castle that I could actually beat backwards. World 7-Ghost House was a nope, because even though we did well in the first two parts of the course, there's this really tall room which you can't even get access to the exit door, not even with a propeller suit. World 7-4 went fine. I just had to make a propeller jump onto this platform. World 7-5 was easy, but in World 7-6, the zoning goofed and I perished. In World 7-Final Castle, we were doing fine until after this skewer. Yup, another semi-solid issue. And World 7 is done. And now we're on to World 8, the most difficult, challenging world of them all. World 8-1 is a nope because of the cloud, but World 8-2 is passable, even though the spike balls are rolling with me. I had to clear this first part in World 8-3 with the propeller suit, but otherwise, it was pretty easy. But it all goes downhill from here. No, not literally downhill. World 8-Mid Castle is impossible because of the semi-solid issue. We were doing fine in World 8-4 except for the giant shaft at the end. Also, when I came out of this pipe, I didn't take damage to the jellyfish. Interesting. And in World 8-5, I couldn't enter this pipe because there's no ground beneath it. With World 8-6, I had to get past this first part with the propeller suit. But then the semi-solid issue occurred again. Plus, if you wait long enough, the lava will rise up and meet yo booty. And in World 8-7, I couldn't reach the bone coasters, not even with the propeller suit. In World 8-Airship, the screw I needed to wind the giant blocks down was on the other side of the giant blocks. And in World 8-Final Castle, when I warped to the second room, I was faced with a giant wall of lava. Wow, World 8 has not treated us well. Out of all the levels, only 26 of them were not possible. A problem with the majority of the levels is that the ground wouldn't let you go further down, or there are giant rooms with no possible way of getting up. Hope you enjoyed this video. This video took a lot of time and effort to make. I planned out this video for months and made the mod in weeks. Plus, the video took many hours of editing. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also make sure to subscribe to Nathaniel Bandy because he was the inspiration for this video. Have a great day.